Good morning everyone. This is class 12th subject chemistry chapter number 12 aldehydes, ketones and carboxylic acids. Lecture number 4. In this lecture I shall be discussing chemical reactions of aldehydes and ketones, that is reduction and oxidation reactions. At the end I will discuss the homework solution of lecture number 3. In the previous lecture, we have discussed the nucleophilic addition reaction of aldehydes and ketones. Now next is reduction reactions. First is reduction to alcohols. Aldehydes and ketones are reduced to alcohols in the presence of reducing agents like sodium borohydride, that is NaBH4, or lithium aluminium hydride. In presence of sodium borohydride, aldehyde converts to primary alcohol, that is RCHO converts to RCH2OH. When ketone is treated with NaBH4, that is sodium borohydride, ketone converts to secondary alcohol. So reaction of aldehyde with sodium borohydride or lithium aluminum hydride results in the formation of primary alcohol, and reaction of ketone in presence of sodium borohydride results in the formation of secondary alcohol. So here one example is written. Reduction of acetone in presence of sodium borohydride results in the formation of secondary alcohol, that is propane 2-ol. Also ketones are reduced to alcohol in presence of hydrogen over nickel, platinum or palladium. So this ketone C double bond O is reduced to CHOH. So this is also one of the reducing agent by which we can reduce ketones to corresponding alcohols. Next is reduction to hydrocarbons. Aldehydes and ketones are reduced to hydrocarbons in presence of zinc, amalgam and in HCl. So this C double bond O, this carbonyl group is reduced to CH2, and this reaction is known as Clemmensen reduction reaction. So here one example is written. Reaction of acetone in presence of zinc amalgam in dilute HCl. So this C double bond O, this carbonyl group converts to CH2. So whenever we want to convert carbonyl compounds to hydrocarbon, so in presence of zinc amalgam in dilute HCl, this carbonyl group converts to CH2. So here propanone is converted to propane, and this reaction is Clemmensen reduction reaction. Next is one more reaction, Wolff-Kishner reduction reaction. Now in this reaction, carbonyl compounds is treated with hydrazine. So here nucleophilic addition reaction takes place. This is a derivative of ammonia. So reaction of hydrazine with carbonyl compound results in the formation of hydrazone. Here water molecule will be lost and this compound is formed. Treatment of this compound, that is treatment of this hydrazone with potassium hydroxide in ethylene glycol results in the formation of this hydrocarbon, and this reaction is known as Wolff-Kishner reduction reaction. So whenever we want to convert aldehydes or ketones to hydrocarbons, so there are two reactions, either Clemmensen reduction reaction or Wolff-Kishner reduction reaction. Clemmensen reduction reaction is reaction of carbonyl compounds in presence of zinc amalgam in dilute HCl. This converts to hydrocarbon, and in case of Wolff-Kishner reduction reaction, this carbonyl compound is treated with hydrazine. In first step, the hydrazone formation takes place, and treatment of hydrazone with KOH in ethylene glycol results in the formation of hydrocarbon. Next is oxidation reactions. Aldehydes are easily oxidized to carboxylic acids on treatment with common oxidizing agents like HNO3, KMNO4, K2Cr2O7. So aldehydes, that is CHO group, is oxidized to carboxylic acid in presence of these oxidizing agents like HNO3, KMNO4 or K2Cr2O7. So aldehydes are easily oxidized to carboxylic acids, whereas ketones are generally oxidized under vigorous conditions, that is strong oxidizing agents, and at elevated temperatures ketones gets oxidized. So in case of aldehydes are easily oxidized by using oxidizing agents like HNO3, K2Cr2O7, KMNO4. But for ketones, strong oxidizing agents and higher temperature is used for the oxidation. And their oxidation involves carbon-carbon bond cleavage to afford a mixture of carboxylic acid having lesser number of carbon atoms than parent ketones. So here in case of oxidation of ketones, oxidation involves carbon-carbon bond cleavage, and here a mixture of carboxylic acid is formed in case of ketones. For example, so here two alkyl groups are attached to this carbonyl group and this is ketone. Now oxidation of ketones results in the oxidation of these ketones result in the formation of four products. So here there are two possibilities, either cleavage of carbon 1 and carbon 2, that is the bond between carbon 1 and 2 is broken, or the bond between carbon 2 and 3. So first is by cleavage of carbon 1 and carbon 2. So when we break this bond, so here two acids are formed, RCH2. So this CH2 converts to COOH. So when cleavage between carbon 1 and 2 is done, RCOOH and R-CH2COH, two acids are formed. Second case is when the bond between carbon 2 and carbon 3, that is when the cleavage between carbon 2 and carbon 3 is done. So here the acid forms are RCH2COOH and R-COOH. This is the case of symmetrical ketones when R and R' are same. In case of unsymmetrical ketones, for example butane 2-on, pentane 2-on, the keto group stays preferentially with smaller alkyl group. For example, so this is unsymmetrical ketone, here methyl and ethyl group is attached with carbonyl group. So whenever unsymmetrical ketone is there, oxidation takes place and this keto group remains with smaller alkyl group. So here methyl is smaller than ethyl, therefore this keto group C double bond O remains with CH3, and here the products are CH3COOH and CH3COH. Now next is in case of pentane 2-on. So here again this is unsymmetrical ketone and this methyl group is smaller than this propyl group. So this keto group remains with this methyl group, and major products are by the cleavage of this carbon 2 and carbon 3 bond. That is when we do the cleavage of carbon 2 and carbon 3 bond, that is the bond between carbon 2 and carbon 3 is cleaved, that will give the major products. So here two possibilities are there. We can cleave carbon 1 and carbon 2 as well as carbon 2 and carbon 3, but the major products are formed when the bond between carbon 2 and carbon 3 is cleaved, and this keto group remains with smaller alkyl group, and here these two acids are formed. First is CH3COOH and CH3CH2. This CH2 converts to carboxylic acid. Now next is mild oxidizing agents used to distinguish aldehydes from ketones. So here some tests are given by which we can distinguish aldehydes from ketones. First is Tollens test. On warming an aldehyde with freshly prepared ammoniacal silver nitrate solution. Ammoniacal silver nitrate solution is known as Tollens reagent. So on warming an aldehyde with freshly prepared Tollens reagent, a bright silver mirror is produced due to the formation of silver metal. And aldehydes are oxidized to corresponding carboxylate anion. So here is the reaction of aldehyde, that is RCHO, with Tollens reagent in presence of basic medium. On heating, the CHO converts to COO negative, that is aldehyde converts to carboxylate ion, and silver mirror, that is the silver thus deposited shines like a mirror, and this test is known as silver mirror test. So this is the reaction of Tollens test. RCHO plus Tollens reagent in presence of basic medium, this converts to aldehyde converts to carboxylate ion, and silver deposited which shines like a mirror. This test is known as silver mirror test. So all aldehydes, that is aliphatic and aromatic, responds to this test, but ketones does not give Tollens test. Both aliphatic and aromatic aldehydes reduces Tollens reagent, but ketones do not respond to this test. Next is Fehling test. Fehling reagent comprises of two solutions, Fehling A and Fehling B. Fehling A contains aqueous copper sulfate solution, and Fehling B is alkaline sodium potassium tartrate, that is Rochelle salt. So whenever Fehling test is done, Fehling A and Fehling B are mixed in equal amount before the test. On heating an aldehyde with Fehling's reagent, a reddish brown precipitate is obtained. Here is the reaction of aldehyde in presence of Fehling reagent. This RCHO converts to COO negative carboxylate ion, and here red brown precipitate of Cu2 is formed, which confirms that there is an aldehyde group present in the reaction mixture. But this test is not given by aromatic aldehydes, that is aromatic aldehydes do not respond to this test. So here are two tests by which we can distinguish aldehydes from ketones: Tollens test, Fehling's test. Tollens test is given by, or you can say that aliphatic and aromatic aldehydes both responds to Tollens test, but Fehling test, in case of Fehling test, aromatic aldehydes do not respond to the Fehling test, and Tollens and Fehling test, ketones do not respond to these tests. Next is oxidation of methyl ketones by haloform reaction. Aldehydes and ketones having at least one methyl group linked to the carbonyl carbon atom are oxidized by sodium hypohalite to sodium salt of corresponding acids having one carbon atom less than that of carbonyl compound, and the methyl group is converted to haloform. So haloform reaction is given by those ketones or those carbonyl compounds which have at terminal the COCH3 group. In presence of sodium hypohalite, this is the formula for sodium hypohalite NaOX. So reaction of carbonyl compound having one methyl group attached to the carbonyl group in presence of sodium hypohalite. This converts to sodium salt of acid, and here the CH3 group converts to haloform. Now, iodoform reaction with sodium hypoiodide is also used for the detection of CH3CO group or CH3CHOH group. Now, if the halogen used is iodine, then this will become sodium hypoiodide, and this reaction is known as iodoform reaction. So here one example is written, that is RCOCH3 in presence of NaOI. This converts to sodium salt of acid, and the CH3 converts to CHI3, that is iodoform, and in the reaction mixture yellow precipitate of iodoform is obtained. So ketones having this group, that is COCH3 group, will give iodoform reaction. So here some examples are given how to distinguish aldehydes from ketones by these tests. First is give simple chemical test distinguish between the following pairs of compounds. First is propanol and propanone. So the formula for propanol is CH3CH2CHO, that is aldehyde, and propanone is a ketone. So these two can be distinguished by Tollens test or by haloform test. Here propanol gives Tollens test, whereas with propanone there is no reaction, or you can say that no silver is deposited or no silver mirror is formed in case of ketones. Second is, if we do the iodoform reaction, then the iodoform reaction is given by propanone and propanol will not give reaction with iodoform. So by Tollens test we can distinguish propanol and propanol. Propanol will give positive Tollens test, whereas propanone will not give positive Tollens test. Next is CH3CH2CHO and C6H5CHO. Now both the compounds are aldehydes. One is aliphatic and one is aromatic aldehydes. So to distinguish between these two pairs, this pair, Fehling test can be done. Aliphatic aldehydes responds to Fehling's test, whereas aromatic aldehydes do not respond to Fehling test. So in case of aliphatic aldehydes, red-brown precipitate is formed, whereas in case of aromatic aldehydes, no red-brown precipitate is formed. Next is, third is butane 2-one and pentane 3-one. So how to distinguish between butane 2-one and pentane 3-one? So by iodoform test we can distinguish between these two compounds. First compound gives positive iodoform test and yellow precipitate of iodoform is obtained, because in first compound, that is in butane 2-one, the compound is having CH3 attached to the carbonyl group, that is it is having terminal COCH3 group. Therefore the first compound gives iodoform test and yellow precipitate of iodoform is obtained, whereas in case of second, no precipitate of iodoform is obtained on treating with sodium hypoiodide. So by iodoform test we can distinguish between these two compounds. So after doing this, you can solve NCERT exercise question number 12.6, 12.13, part number 1st, 2nd, 5th, 6th and 7th. Now I will be discussing the homework solution of lecture number 3. Arrange the following compounds in increasing order of their boiling points: aldehyde, alcohol, ether and hydrocarbon. 4 compounds are given. So among these 4 compounds, hydrocarbon has the least value of boiling point because only weak van der Waals forces are present between hydrocarbon, whereas the boiling point for ethanol or alcohol is highest because intermolecular hydrogen bonding is present between alcohol molecules. So this is the increasing order of boiling point among these 4 compounds. Next is NCERT exercise question number 12.1. What is meant by following terms? Give an example of reaction in each case. First is cyanohydrin. So this reaction we have discussed in lecture number 3 during the nucleophilic addition reaction of aldehydes and ketones. So reaction of aldehyde, that is CH3CHO with HCN in basic medium, results in the formation of cyanohydrin. Nucleophilic addition reaction takes place and cyanohydrin is formed. This is the structure of cyanohydrin. Next is acetal. So when carbonyl compounds reacts with 2 molecule or 2 equivalent of alcohol in dry HCl gas, this converts to acetal. In case of aldehyde, acetal is formed. In case of ketones, ketal is formed. So this is the reaction of acetal and this is the structure of acetal. Third is semicarbazone. So when carbonyl compounds are treated with semicarbazide, results in the formation of semicarbazone. This is the structure of semicarbazide, and in semicarbazide the attack on this carbonyl carbon takes place from this nitrogen. Because this nitrogen, the lone pair of electrons are involved in the resonance with this carbonyl group, so the lone pair of electron of this nitrogen attacks on this carbonyl carbon, and here the semicarbazone is formed. Next is hemiacetal. So when carbonyl compounds react with one molecule of alcohol in presence of dry HCl gas, so here this converts to hemiacetal. This is the formula for hemiacetal. Next is oxime. So when carbonyl compounds reacts with hydroxylamine, that is NH2OH, so here conversion takes place and results in the formation of oxime. So reaction of carbonyl compounds with hydroxylamine results in the formation of oxime. This is the structure for oxime. Next is 7th is ketal. So reaction of ketone with ethylene glycol in dry HCl gas. So here bottom molecule is lost and this ketal is formed. Next is imine. So when aldehydes or ketones reacts with ammonia, results in the formation of imine. So here is the example: reaction of ethanol with ammonia results in the formation of amine. Next is 2,4-DNP derivative. 2,4-DNP is 2,4-dinitrophenylhydrazine. So this is the structure of 2,4-dinitrophenylhydrazine, and this is one of the derivative of ammonia. So reaction of carbonyl compounds with 2,4-DNP derivative results in the formation of 2,4-dinitrophenylhydrazone. So this is the reaction for 2,4-DNP derivative of carbonyl compounds by taking the example of ethanol. Next is Schiff's base. So reaction of amine with carbonyl compounds results in the formation of Schiff's base. This is the structure of Schiff's base. Next question is question number 12.5. Draw the structures of following derivatives. First is 2,4-dinitrophenylhydrazone of benzaldehyde. So reaction of benzaldehyde with 2,4-dinitrophenylhydrazine results in the formation of 2,4-dinitrophenylhydrazone. This is the structure of 2,4-dinitrophenylhydrazone of benzaldehyde. Next is cyclopropanone oxime. So this is the structure for cyclopropanone oxime. This is cyclopropanone. Reaction of cyclopropanone with hydroxylamine results in the formation of cyclopropanone oxime. Third is acetaldehyde dimethyl acetal. So reaction of ethanol with two molecules of methanol in dry HCl gas results in the formation of acetaldehyde dimethyl acetal. This is the structure of acetaldehyde dimethyl acetal. Fourth is semicarbazone of cyclobutanone. So reaction of cyclobutanone with semicarbazide results in the formation of semicarbazone of cyclobutanone. This is the structure for semicarbazone of cyclobutanone. Next is the ethylene ketal of hexane 3-one. So here is the reaction of hexane 3-one with ethylene glycol, and this is the structure for ethylene ketal of hexane 3-one. Sixth part is the methyl hemiacetal of formaldehyde. So this is the structure of formaldehyde. Reaction of formaldehyde with one molecule of CH3OH, that is methanol, in dry HCl gas. So this results in the formation of methyl hemiacetal of formaldehyde. This is the structure for methyl hemiacetal of formaldehyde. Question number 12.9 will be discussed later. Now question number 12.12, first part. Arrange the following in increasing order of the property indicated: acetaldehyde, acetone, di-tertiary butyl ketone, methyl tertiary butyl ketone, reactivity towards HCN. So here is the here are the structures of these four compounds: acetaldehyde, acetone, di-tertiary butyl ketone, methyl tertiary butyl ketone. Reactivity towards HCN with these compounds is an example of nucleophilic addition reaction, and in nucleophilic addition reaction, aldehydes are more reactive than ketones. So acetaldehyde is the most reactive. Among these three ketones, the second ketone, that is acetone, is the least hindered. After that, fourth compound, that is methyl tertiary butyl ketone, and di-tertiary butyl ketone is the most hindered ketone, and reactivity towards nucleophilic addition reaction decreases on increasing the steric hindrance. Or you can say that as crowding increases, reactivity decreases. So the least reactive is di-tertiary butyl ketone, that is third compound, then methyl tertiary butyl ketone, then acetone, and the most reactive is acetaldehyde. In nucleophilic addition reaction of aldehydes and ketones, aldehydes are the most reactive, and in ketones, less sterically hindered ketones are more reactive. This acetone is least hindered among these three ketones, therefore the reactivity of acetone is much more than these two compounds. And this di-tertiary butyl ketone is least reactive because this ketone has more crowding as compared to these two ketones. So this is the increasing order of these compounds towards addition of HCN. Third is the least reactive, then fourth, second, and first is the most reactive. So this is all about the homework solution of lecture number 3. Thank you. Please like and subscribe this channel.